Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 8th session of Star Trek Bastet. We are an actual play podcast that is using the role playing system Star Trek Adventures, and we are running on a time traveling Prometheus class, which has proved to be really fun so far. But don't stress if you haven't been able to catch the past VODs. You can get the VODs on demand on YouTube and most of the popular podcast solutions. But as always, you shouldn't really need to have watched previous episodes to enjoy this one. Let's see, announcement wise this week, the only thing I'd like to announce is that I do have a new text based West Marches style Star Trek Adventures roleplay on my Discord server. And if you've ever wanted to be part of my living universe, wanted to try out STA, or maybe you just simply want to roleplay somewhere new, I definitely encourage you to check it out. And links to my Discord should be both below the stream and on YouTube, it'll be in my About section somewhere. And I'll even drop a Discord command in chat. But yeah, that's really all I have to say for now. Let's go around and have the players introduce themselves, starting with. Let's start at the bottom this week. Let's start with Matthew.
Hello, everyone. My name is Matthew. I play the Benzite Lieutenant Tyr Thavarin.
Hello,
Wolf, you're
everyone.
next.
I am Dare Wolf. I am playing the Betazoid Chief Medical Officer Lieutenant Kalos Cater.
Hey everybody, I am Brian. I am at MindOverBrian on both Twitter and on Twitch, although on Twitch I spell it with a 0. And I am playing Lieutenant Baylor Droxine.
Hey friends, my name is Nikhil and I play Lieutenant Salim Alexio. And nice to be here with you all.
Hey everyone, I'm Alex. I am playing the Cation acting captain, Lieutenant Abbasi.
And I'm ELH. If you don't know me already, I'm the game master for this lovely group. And let's run our quick little introductory. God, I can do words. You know what I mean. Here we go. And welcome back. So something I like doing for all my Star Trek games is having the players do an opening log. I believe today Mr. Cater has it.
Chief Medical Officer's personal log. Stardate 2148-2.6. At least I think. Timetable is really complicated. I've been meeting with Ensign Vi every couple of days for my personal psychoses, and I'm rather reticent to say that, all in all, it actually seems to be helping. Not per se her personal medical advice, but just meeting with her, having someone to talk to has been rather cathartic. I have yet to tell her this, but I remember her from somewhere. It's hard to say, but when I first saw her on the bridge, I felt some kind of connection, like meeting an old friend or seeing a picture from your past. It's something that I likely should bring up, but at this point, I'm just enjoying having what I might consider a friend. My interactions with the captain were less than, well, how do I put this, productive? I came across as a kind of early Earth psychologist trying to determine whether or not it was his mother or father that he was trying to emulate, but it didn't go very well. Speaking of not going very well, although my psychology and psychoses with Lieutenant V have been going well, Tamarochka has had less than productive meetings with Vi. Whether it's her meetings and the psychology and the counseling that Vi's been trying to give her, or just the fact that we can't figure out how to get home, it's really hard to say, but she seems to be getting more and more frustrated. Vi, on the other hand, just seems like Vi. Calm, cool, collected, and sort of absent-minded. I wonder if all Q are like this. Well, more to the point, former Q. With that being said, Vi has taken up the corner office in the medical bay, the biggest office. I'm not upset by it, but she put in this really nice aquarium, and there's like fish, and they're all swimming around, and I find myself at times just staring at it during the day. I should probably get back to work and log.
Very nice. And you may, of course, have one momentum for that opening log. And unlike usual, where we have opening scenes, I think what we're going to do is we're just going to jump straight to today's sort of main event. So we join the players as we sort of have a view of the Bastet coming into frame around a azure blue world. There are no land masses. It is quite literally an ocean world. And as the Bastet comes into view, we sort of pan into the bridge where everybody except for Tamarochka is present. And as the planet fills up the view screen, Lieutenant Verissa reports and says, well, sir, here we are. We're at 6C2F. Really needs a better name than that, but that's the name that the computer's given me. The chronoton readings I detected are indeed coming from below the surface of the water somewhere.
So we're
Oh.
looking for a time-traveling fish?
Also, Captain, you were muted. And Verissa says, I'm not sure. I don't think it's quite literally a time-traveling entity, but, I mean, just look at the chronoton readings. There has to be something quite major here.
See, I want to run some sensor scans, see if we can pinpoint the exact location of these chronotons.
I use the ship sensors to attempt to triangulate the direct coordinates of these chronoton readings.
Sure. Roll me a reason science for you, sensor science for the Bastet. This is going to be at a difficulty of 2 because of the water.
You said reason, Yelage?
Yep.
Thank you,
Reason
sir.
science.
Skedongle.
Wow,
Survey
very
says,
nice. That's 4 successes already, so you get 2 momentum. Very, very nice. So,
Thank you, Jonesy.
what you're seeing, Cater, is you're seeing that there are hints that there's some sort of facility that runs along the bottom of what is the equivalent of the Marianas Trench. So very deep in the water, very far down. So
It's
you're
like
not
a
able
physical structure?
to... Yes.
Down there? Oh.
Like a physical metallic structure. Now, you can't really scan the interior. You're just really able to tell that there's a massive amount of unnatural metal, is what I would say. Enough that you would be like, yeah, somebody built something here. But the other side to this is you are also detecting massive life forms. Now, when I say massive life forms, I don't mean in the structure, I mean in the surrounding ocean itself. And when I say massive, I'm not talking like, oh, it's it's a great white shark or it's a megalodon. I'm talking on the order of like a scale 7 to scale 8 starship big.
How big is this planet, like compared to
Uh
Earth?
Compared to Earth, this is more or less a smaller Jupiter. So if I have my
Oh,
math
big.
right,
Big.
it's big. If I have my math right, it's about 2.5 times larger than Earth.
Well, now I'm sad that no one gets to say, Captain, there be whales here.
I mean, you still could if you wanted to.
Captain, there'll be giant creatures there. Sorry, channeling the old captain. With that being said, Captain, I'm reading a unnatural structure somewhere beneath the surface, as well as massive life forms. I'm having trouble drawing a comparison as to how big they are, but at least double the size of our own vessel.
The structure that you're detecting, are we able to get a fix for a transporter lock anywhere within the structure?
Boop, 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 boop. ELH.
Nope. Whole lot of no.
No.
Whole lot of no. Whole lot of no, Captain. Whole lot of no.
Also, real quick, I don't know who it is, but I do hear some whistling in the background, almost like a heater or something.
Captain, do you think we might be able to modulate the shields of a shuttlecraft and use it to penetrate the water's surface and make our way down to the structure? I'm not much for shield modulations, but I assume there has to be a way to make that work.
There should be a way to reinforce the structural integrity fields on one of our shuttlecraft.
But if there are life forms the size of, well, starships, what's to prevent one of them from swallowing a shuttlecraft whole without even noticing it?
A phaser array.
Are you confident that a phaser array is going to function deep underwater, subject to that kind of pressure?
Based on my readings, I believe if you give me at least an hour, sir, I might be able to map out their migration patterns and perhaps find a way through this field of creatures where we could make our way directly to the structure.
Captain, if I may, with respect to my suggestion, perhaps we should also think about attempting to modify a shuttlecraft such that the phasers could, by narrowing their confinement beams, still function underwater in case the doctor's calculations, well, are erroneous. No offense, Doctor.
Offense taken. Thank you.
All right, let's save the squabbles for later, please. Doctor, I want you to go ahead and map out their migratory pattern.
Very well, Captain.
Tavarin, let's modify one of the shuttlecraft as you suggested.
Very good.
All right.
It won't be necessary, but I appreciate the vote of confidence in Tavarin.
Also, Wolf,
I
think it
can
might
work
be-
on the shield modulation. It seems to be one of the only things really that I'm good at. So
You're also very good at being a friend and rescuing people when they almost die. So keep that up too, my friend.
Captain?
And
Roxy?
painful as it is to admit, you did beat my high score on the holodeck, so you are multi-talented, obviously.
Permission
big man to admit that.
Permission to take Lieutenant Raylor down with me to the shuttle bay so we can do some modifications to the propulsion systems. If they're going to need to operate underwater, we're going to need to take a look.
Ruler turns to you and goes, hello. She waves a hand in front of her face. How am I supposed to help you?
Well, you're still about 4 times smarter than I am about propulsion systems, so I'll be the hands, you be the brains.
Yeah, I am kind of the brains of the operation. And it's at this point that Lieutenant Muir actually speaks up and says, point of order, Captain. Not that I doubt Tavarin at all. In fact, I have full confidence in him to modify the phasers. But a photon torpedo wouldn't have an issue underwater. It is able to travel under its own power. And the only issue there, sir, is if we put it on a shuttlecraft, we only have 1 or 2 shots. Whereas if we took the Bastet in, we have our full complement available.
And photon torpedoes are a rare commodity. We may not be able to resupply.
That is very true. Very astute of you. My only counterpoint is that, I mean, maybe next we'll end up in the 26th century or something. Who knows? We can still steal torpedoes there.
What are your orders, Captain?
Well, I do agree that with Lieutenant Muir that a complement of photon torpedoes wouldn't require any modification if we took the Bastet. I would rather get some preliminary readings from a shuttlecraft from closer to the facility before bringing the Bastet.
Captain, if you're simply looking for sensor readings, I imagine Lieutenant Tavarin and Lieutenant Cater could modulate a probe rather than sending an actual crewed shuttle.
Based on my readings, Captain, the water's density is actually too thick for a probe to get accurate readings, so we would need to use a shuttlecraft.
I would have some doubts about a probe's ability with the added pressure through however deep this ocean is.
One last concern, if I may, Captain. Might it be possible for us to modify the transporters to narrow their annular confinement beams such that we may be able to create some kind of transporter lock or interlink between the shuttle's transporters and the Bastets. That way, if something goes wrong, we can at least try to save the crew.
I can agree with that as well. It sounds like we have quite a deal to work on for one of our shuttlecraft. Let's get to work.
All right. So who would like to go first, or should I just pick on someone?
I can
Just
make my
pick up
readings
someone.
first, just to get them out of the way. Since everything else is taking place on the shuttle, I'll just get my readings and try to map the migration patterns.
Okay. So for you then, Mr. Cater, you're going to be rolling me a reason and a con, and the ship will assist you with sensors and con. The difficulty by default is 2. However, again, due to the nature of the world and the environment you are trying to scan, the difficulty becomes a 3.
I use a momentum, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Also, real quick, Wolf, I think it is you that the whistling's coming through on. I think.
Really?
Yeah, because when you talk, I'm hearing it.
Oh, I don't know. I will mute myself as soon as I'm done rolling and try to figure out my audio issue. Sorry.
Sure, you're fine.
And can I use the ship to assist me?
Yeah. It's going to be a, well, there's your 3 you need already. Let's see if
Let's
the
get
ship
some
gets you
momentum.
momentum.
Come on, Droxine.
Sorry, what is the ship's?
Hook me
Sensor
up, Uncle
con.
Brian. Hook me
Sensor
up.
con?
Come on, Uncle Brian. I believe in you.
In before
Damn it.
complication. All right, another one. So that is 4 successes. You get your momentum right back. And the way this is going to work is you are able to chart the patterns of some of the larger creatures. And what that's going to do is it reduces the difficulty of any task to avoid these creatures by 2. However, if you want to spend 2 more momentum, you're going to map the hazards of all creatures in that area, which would then make it so that instead of just the big fish, the little fish too.
And also, don't forget your challenge die.
That too for untap potential.
And we have 4 momentum because you got an extra one from the ship. We have
And you
6
actually
momentum.
get 2 momentum from untap potential too. Nice.
I say go ahead and use that momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so you'll spend the extra 2, bringing you down to 4 momentum. And yeah, Cater, you have mapped out almost every single little fish, right down to like the size of a flounder, just in case, something goes amiss. But you think you have a really good plan of where everything is.
That sounds awesome. Cool.
All right. So, next, as I try to find what the hell I did with the shuttle bay, I actually don't know where my shuttle bay went, so we're just going to go theater of the mind here. So we are now going to focus in on Raylure, Tavarin, and Droxine. And I guess Alexio's here as well, because you all are technically working on the shuttle. So my first question is, which of the shuttles are you going to be messing with? We haven't really touched base on shuttlecraft thus far. So what I would say is you do have a pair of Type 9s. You have one Type 5, and that's about it. You only have really the 3 shuttlecraft because, well, they figured Prometheus class doesn't really need shuttles.
Fair.
I would definitely suggest a Type 9.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right.
Fine with me.
So you start working on one of the Type 9s, and as you begin work, Relore sort of just finds a seat or otherwise has the replicator make her one, and she just sort of sits and begins directing Droxine in particular. And as she does so, she's like, and make sure you, well, to put it bluntly, don't cross wires here because I can't see you making that mistake.
Yep. Nope. I'm a good enough engineer that I can puzzle it out as we go. You just need to give me the gist of what it is, what modifications you think will be necessary for an underwater submersion.
Well, first we need to bypass the auxiliary sonar manifold. It works for Earth-type oceans, but if this water's as dense as Cater says, we're going to need it to work a little bit more powerfully.
Okay.
And then Relora actually looks over at you, Tavarin, and says, so, phaser idea, how's that going to work exactly?
Well, by narrowing the focusing crystal inside the phaser emitters, we should be able to produce a more focused beam. It will probably dissipate a little bit less quickly inside this aqueous environment.
Well, that or we're just going to create a whole lot of bubbles. Maybe the bubbles will scare the fish away.
I don't see you coming up with any better ideas.
Well, that's good, because I don't see you either.
Mm-hmm. Was that supposed to be a comeback?
Well, I can't exactly get up and punch you, so yes. Yes.
Alexio, do you have any suggestions as to how we might modify the phasers? Seeing as you're such an expert.
I never claimed I was an expert on making them, just shooting them. But I'll walk over and take a look. I just don't think that this is his expertise here.
And yeah, because I find it funny, I want Alexio and Tavarin to each roll me an insight security difficulty of 2. And I mean, you can use momentum here, but I think it would be more funny if you rolled it straight and see who quote unquote wins this tie of knowledge.
Shipboard tactical systems
would apply.
I don't think I have a focus, so
I'm just going to say it would be really interesting if, okay, interesting. So not only have you guys both rolled 2 successes, you crit, and you have both the same insight securities. No, wait, I can read. Alexio actually has a 9 in security, or in insight.
Yeah.
So I think this is how it's going to play out, and I'll let you guys figure out the actual details of it. So you both come up with a good idea for modifying the phasers, but maybe Alexio has just a little bit tiny more insight than what Tavarin had.
I mean, Tavarin, if the idea, I mean, it's essentially the same. It's only, it'd be a very minor difference. We can go with what you said so that you can save face. I'm happy to. I'm perfectly happy to let you have this one. Or we don't have to make this a thing.
Listen, your false humility and dragging it out only makes it worse. So I know that's your intention.
Noticed that I thought this was helping.
You guys know I'm here, right?
Yes, sir. Did you want to add something?
No, oh no, you were just talking to each other like you were going to keep a secret, and Rayler and I are still. No, you know what? Never mind. I'll just Rayler, I'm reconfiguring the secondary baryon induction equalizer.
The joke was I was talking really loud so everyone could hear.
No, that wasn't a joke. That was an attempt at insulting me. But you earned that right. The idea that you have regarding the rerouting of secondary EPS manifolds in order to create a more potent initial burst from the phasers is a legitimate strategy. Please go ahead and implement it.
Yeah, and I think to make it even funnier, I didn't exactly even know what each piece was called. I was like, I think if you put that one into that one, that would be.
Listen, he's an ideas guy. He doesn't know the nitty-gritty details. He's just an ideas guy.
No. I just know in general what the stuff does, but not why, or like how it runs.
Fair enough. So, as I imagine a very salty Tavarin and Alexio do their thing, let's handle Droxine's role here. So, Droxine, to be more specific, what is it you're trying to enhance specifically about the shuttle? Now, are you, like, for example, are you trying to upgrade its engines? Are you trying to make its sensors better? Are you trying to make it fly better? Con. Basically, I'm asking you to pick which department.
Presumably, it would be. This is the ability to navigate or to maneuver in the waters would be a con.
Okay. So let me just very quickly pull up the Type 9 stats, and I'll tell you what you're dealing with here. Let's see, page 69. Nice. Let's see. So you are looking at for con, it actually starts with a 2. So if you are interested in upgrading it to a 3, it would therefore be a control and an engineering, and it would be at a difficulty of 3. And if you have anything like jury rigging or anything like starship construction, that would all apply here.
Nope. Nope. None of those things. May I? I'm going to spend not a threat, momentum to get an extra dice, please.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
That's a no on the applicable focus. I mean, unless you'll give me helm operations, but I feel like this is not the
Yeah,
actual
this isn't
operation
really
of the
helm
helm.
operation. This is more modifying the engines and modifying the response time
Yeah.
of the helm.
That's what I was thinking.
All right, well, that is only 2 successes. So what I will enable you to do is succeed at cost. However, that does mean a complication somewhere down the line.
Oof. No, I'm fine with not being able to having it stay. What I don't need is for this complication to come up while I'm in the water. Thank you.
No, that's exactly what we need. This is
Well,
this is a compelling narrative. We want
It turns out
complications.
Tavarin has looked over my shoulder and told me what I did wrong. So yeah, I'll take it at cost.
All right. So with a very salty Tavarin checking your work, I think you actually don't get a whole lot done, or otherwise it just, the change does not take, quote unquote. And what that means is, unless you want to tell the captain to wait another 6 hours, it does mean that you are unable to complete the modification at this time. So let's now go to Tavarin and Alexio. So again, be very specific. I think you're upgrading your security here. So which of the systems are you upgrading? Are you upgrading the structure, aka shields, the weapons, aka, well, weapons? What is it you are focusing on?
I think it was really the structural integrity field such that we could withstand the pressures of this unusual environment more easily.
Correct. Yeah, that's what I thought as well.
All right, so then this is going to be a difficulty of 4. You may assist each other on this. It will be a control and a security. And again, if you have anything related to shields, force fields, starship construction, anything of that nature would apply here.
Starship tactical systems, or
I would give it
Too
to you in
broad.
this instance, yes.
okay. Then Alexio, although you may have some facility with modulation of shields, this is more of an engineering operation, given that we're altering the structural integrity fields to carry a larger charge.
I'll let you lead the way. I'll just be here helping out.
Very good. So, would we have time to use mental repository here, or?
If you don't mind telling the captain why you're an hour late, sure.
Very good. Then I'll just use augmented ability control.
Okay, so that gives you 1 free success to start with.
And would anyone mind if I spent 3?
Go ahead.
Okay. And it was control and security?
You got it.
Oh, hey, I should roll my challenge dice to see if we get any more.
Oh yeah,
Also,
don't forget to
Alexio's
do your
I'm
things.
assisting, yeah.
Oops. Turns out if you roll 0, nothing happens.
All right, so actually that's going to be 5, 6 successes for Tavarin and Alexio, which means you immediately get 2 momentum back, and then 1 from Droxine's Untapped Potential. So yeah, Tavarin, now we need to see Untapped Potential from you.
7, isn't it? Because I used augmented ability control, so I have 5 plus 2 from Alexio.
I can mad. Yes, it is 7, so you would actually be at 4 momentum right now. No, 5 momentum. I can math today. All right. So the good news here is that you are able to upgrade the structure to be 7 instead of 6. And that might not seem like much, but it carries the benefit of also coming with an extra point of shields, which could very well be the difference between your shuttle going poof and your shuttle, well, not going poof.
I must say,
You
that
know,
was impeccable work by me.
when you're not being overly competitive, I think we work together pretty well.
Well, when I'm taking the lead, yes, we do work together quite well. I'm glad that you've noticed that.
Gentlemen, the important part is that the work got done.
That's funny coming from you, but
You know what? I'll admit it. It was my poor craftsmanship that made Lieutenant Raylor's modification impossible.
Well, yeah, I told you like 3 times not to cut the
Not
red wire.
across them. But so, listen, I sometimes have a difficult time telling between red and green.
Wait, you're colorblind?
Wait, is that maybe? I mean, I see blues just fine.
I mean, red-green color blindness is a thing, as far as I know.
I mean, that would explain a lot of my exam confusion.
How do you work consoles if you have red-green color blindness?
Well, they've all got words in them.
how did you live your whole life in the Federation completely undiagnosed?
Well, I just knew that. I mean, the uniforms when they were gray, that was commands, and then there is no green uniform.
Sir, I suggest you report to sickbay and just.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's just a shot for this.
Well, man, that would be nice.
Side
All right,
note,
well,
I don't think there is a shot, but carry on. I find this funny.
I'll swing by the sick bay before we take off on this mission. Then I guess.
They really put the best and the brightest on this ship.
Man, imagine what a great pilot I'll be if I can tell the difference between red and green.
Oh my god. You've been flying us this whole time.
Well, to be more accurate, I have. Rulur speaks up. I just let him think he's been flying us.
Is
Ouch.
this not a case of the blind leading the colorblind?
Yes, actually, yes. Yes, it is.
That doesn't make me feel any better.
I mean, have I blown us up yet?
Guys, this is really hurting my feelings. All right, well, you 3 of you report back to the captain, and I'll report to sick bay. Droxine the Cater.
Dr. Cater here.
Meet me in sick bay. I have a confession or a recent diagnosis that I'd like to discuss with you.
Oh, is everything all right? Are you ill?
No, I'm fine. It turns out apparently I might be colorblind.
All right then. See you there.
All right. And as you run off, we're just going to cut back to the bridge where most of you are reporting back to the captain. So the only person who's not here, well, the people who are not here are Droxine and Cater.
Status report.
Well, we've reinforced the structural integrity fields on one of our Type 9 shuttles. It should be able to better withstand the pressure. However, Lieutenant Alexio was predominantly responsible for the alterations to the weapon systems, so he can probably provide you with a more thorough and accurate report of their potential efficacy underwater.
Alexio?
Well, they'll work against organic matter similarly to the way they would outside of there. It just depends on what we're up against, frankly.
That sounds like there's something else.
No, I mean, it's only an admission of the fact that we don't know what we're going up against. It might require further modifications on the fly depending on what we encounter, but they'll work roughly as well as in water as they would out of water.
And was there any modifications to the propulsion system?
Well, Lord sort of stumbles at words. Let's just say the The co-pilot can't tell red and green, apparently.
How did he get out of the academy not knowing that?
I have no idea, but somehow this doesn't surprise me.
Well, that would probably be why Dr. Cater rushed off when he did. As soon as Droxine is ready, I'll have him choose who his away team's going to be.
And speaking of Mr. Droxine, who is going on the away mission?
Well, I need Alexio for shield modifications, and I need Tavarn for ability to parse what the heck that thing is when we get there.
Mm-hmm.
How many people fit in the Type 9? 4, right?
You could fit 4, but it would be very uncomfortable.
Well, then we'll just leave it to 3 of us. That way, I can be even more deficient to the 2 other officers.
Nice. All right. Well, in that case, we're just going to skip just a little bit ahead in the timeline. We'll deal with the color blindness eventually, because that is a B plot I want to deal with. But for the time being, we're just going to skip ahead just a little bit. So, Tavarn, Alexio, and Droxine, you all pile into the Type 9 shuttle that you've modified, and we see it launch out of the rear of the Bastet's beta section, and it angles on down towards the planet. And I'm not going to have you roll to enter the water, because you already have 5 momentum. So what I'm going to say is you very gracefully take the shuttle in, and it's like almost like a hot knife through butter how graceful and smooth you enter into the water. And as you do so, the modifications to the engines might not work, but some of the temporary solutions for sonar purposes do work. So while you're not getting a whole lot of natural light down this far as you go deeper and deeper and deeper, what you are seeing is almost like a grid that has been overlaid on the view screen and on consoles to show you sort of the rocky, mountainous terrain that exists underwater. And your target is in one of the main valleys of, again, what is essentially the Marianas Trench for this planet. And as you go deeper and deeper and deeper, I need either Alexio or Tavarin to roll me a control and a security at a difficulty of 2 to correctly modulate the shields so that the pressure does not eat you. And the shuttle will assist you with a structure and security, and you should have access to a Type 9 shuttle in the Bastet character menu.
I think I'll do this one if that's fine.
Absolutely.
The momentum.
All right, well, there's already an assist from the shuttle.
This is a difficulty of 2?
Difficulty of 2.
Okay, I will still spend a momentum if that's fine, just in case.
Yes.
All right. Actually, yeah, looking at the Type 9's roll, it was a good thing you upgraded structure because you rolled a 9.
Oof.
Oh, oops. I did spend that momentum, so I should actually roll that 3rd die.
All right, well, you're already at 4 successes, so that's good. Oh, that's a crit. So that's 2, 4, 5, 6 successes. So you not only are capped in momentum, I believe you have 2 floating by my count.
Can I put that right into the shields, like a modulate shields task?
Yeah, I'll allow it. So basically, your resistance is going to go up by 2. Sure, I'll let it happen. So as you modulate the shields and you go deeper and deeper and deeper, you finally come to not the bottom of the trench, but to deep enough part that you can start to see the structure that the Bastet picked up from orbit. And what you're all seeing is this almost conical shaped metallic structure that is color-wise, you're not really able to tell because, again, you're just sort of seeing a wireframe over the environment. But you can tell that it's definitely made out of some strong stuff. Not quite duranium that, starships are made out of. Something a bit more sturdy than that. You also see that there are regular sort of ports that could be docking bays, including docking bays that are large enough to accommodate the Bastet. In fact, the more you get words hard. As you get a bead on the structure and you start to scan it more and more, what you're starting to realize is that this structure was not designed by human standards. Specifically, it's almost as if something about 3 or 4 times the average size of a human designed this structure. But if that wasn't bad enough, or maybe good enough, depending on your scenario, as you sit there sort of scanning the structure, a massive being begins to swim by. And I have a handout for this. You see something a little bit like that swimming by. And for those who can't see the screen, if you will imagine a large sea serpent with bioluminescence along its length, and its head actually has a total of 6 tendrils or tentacles that swim off of it, almost like an octopus's arms that kind of come off right behind the head. And if for those of you who can see the screen, you see that little bit of light that's right ahead of the creature's jaw. That is scale accurate size. So this thing, very big, very, very big.
I don't think I can modulate the shields enough if this thing came after us.
We
How-
survive. Remind me to punch Cater in the face.
How quiet can we make this ship, gentlemen?
This is in no way my fault.
Suggestions?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm in mortal terror.
With a quick tap of a few buttons, Droxine will shut down all but the sensors and shields, so that we're about as quiet and dark as they'll shut out the lights in the cabin, just like.
And I think that actually might make it worse for Tavarin, because once you've killed the running lights and the interior lights, you don't really see the creature anymore except for the massive bioluminescent spots as it gets uncomfortably close to the shuttle.
Anybody have a better suggestion than just hoping it doesn't bump us?
We
We
could
can go home.
flee. Yes, that was actually my suggestion.
All right, I thought moving might be a bad idea, but you two seem to be in agreement for once. So, yeah.
Let me ask a question, ELH. The apertures that we see on the facility, they are large enough to fit the shuttlecraft, right?
Easily, yes.
And are they large enough to allow the creature entrance?
No. Well, it might be able to get its head in, but there's no way it would be able to get its entire mass in there. There's no way. This thing is probably close to a kilometer long. It's that big.
Yeah, it was the former that I was really wondering about. How deep could it go into one of those apertures if we were to try to make it for one of those?
I don't know. You'll have to try it and find out.
Sir, we have...
Hiding inside the structure is, I think it's a fine idea at the bar, and it's better than anything else we can think of, I think.
At least it may pass us by. We might not be able to make it to the surface quickly enough, given that our engines haven't been modified.
Just gotta get that dig in, huh? Do we have any probes aboard?
I would say you have a probe, yeah.
Can we fire a probe with a message for the ship? I assumed that we wouldn't have communications. Do we have communications with the ship?
You do?
Oh, all right. Well, shuttlecraft to Bastet.
You're muted,
You're
Captain.
muted.
Go ahead.
We have run into some of the locals, and they are very big and very scary, sir. We're going to try and take shelter inside the structure. So yeah, just so you're aware, that's what we're doing.
Noted. Proceed at your discretion.
Thank you, sir. Shuttlecraft out. All right, gents, let's take her in. and I'm going to power up the engines very slowly
Mhm.
so that we don't make too much noise, and then very gently nudge her toward and then into the structure.
All right, this is going to be a daring and a con, assisted by the engine's con of the ship. Now, what I would say is that this was going to be a difficulty of 5, but thanks to Cater's earlier scans, it becomes a difficulty of 3.
I don't see how that influences the situation. I really think this should be a difficulty 5, but
You're right. In fact, I like that argument. I'm spending a bunch of
Oof.
threat. It's now difficulty 5
Oh
again.
my god.
So,
we
so here's
depleted
what
his
I'm
threat pool.
thinking, Tavarn. Why? Why?
He's getting tired of this character. He's just like,
He's like,
he wants us all three of us to die.
I'm going to spend 2 momentum
Mm-hmm.
and get a third dice that I can roll, because I'm also going to tap my I'm not even supposed to be here today.
That's a very good talent.
Value.
Very good talent.
Yeah, that's
for
a
this.
really good one.
Yeah.
Or value for this. Yeah, very good value.
To get the automatic 2 successes,
All right.
and then helm operation as a
Yes.
focus.
Would definitely be a focus. In before
Could-
complications.
Oh, damn it.
Okay. All right. No complications.
4,
So that
and
is 4. And then
the
I do need to
shuttle,
see engine's con from the shuttle.
One shuttle, you can do it.
In
I was
before
going to
complication.
wonder if one of us could assist him by attempting to distract the creature by creating some sort of resonance pulse within the water and draw it away from the shuttle.
I mean, what I would say is I'll let you try it, but just remember every dice you roll is another chance at a complication.
we're just one short.
Mhm.
Yeah. So if you want to assist, I would say that would probably be a daring security, but only one of you gets to assist. You can't both assist.
Yeah, I think it should be you.
Since I'm trying to distract it and I'm sort of coordinating with the helm in order to make that course correction and direct it away from us, would my helm operations focus apply?
I'll give it to you.
Okay. D20 focus. Here we go.
All right, there's your 5. So what happens is you power up the shuttle and you get it going towards the building or the structure underwater, and you get a fair distance away from the creature before it seems to notice you. And as it sort of turns in the water very unnervingly and begins swimming directly at you, it's almost like if Jaws was, well, 1,000 times bigger. So it is horrifying to see something that big move so quickly. So you maybe gun it a little bit faster and faster and faster until you're almost going full bore through the water as this creature gets closer and closer and closer. But right before it's able to open its jaw and snap down on you, you burst into one of the landing bays in the structure with such force and speed that you actually emerge into an atmosphere, nearly bounce off the ceiling, and otherwise come to a stop right before the creature swims by the opening.
Okay, that was terrifying. Good work, Mr. Tavarin. I appreciate very much your help.
Your piloting was exceptional, sir. Just needed that last little push.
Druxing to Bastet.
Go ahead.
I think we're safely hidden on board here. We're going to forward you our sensor readings, and you can decide whether to bring the whole ship down.
Understood.
And as you're doing that, I actually have a little bit of describing to do for what you're seeing. So if you almost will imagine like a moon pool where you came up from under the water into the atmosphere. And what you're seeing is that this open space around you, again, is built for something much larger than a human. You know that because there are things like chairs and benches and other sorts of panels that would seem to indicate a much larger being was once quartered here. There are limited windows to the outside that afford you a view of the leviathan sort of swimming by. But what the one thing you notice is the quiet. There is no sound here. I mean, obviously, if you make sound, there is sound, but there's no sound of oxygen recyclers. There's no sound of, well, anything. The only sounds are what's coming from the moon pool or what's coming from outside. So in the water itself. But what I would say is you are detecting that the atmosphere is Class M and it is being maintained by something.
Well, gentlemen, shall we disembark and see what we can see?
Yes, sir. ELH,
Yo.
we came down here in search of the chronometric readings, correct?
You did indeed.
Have we any chance of localizing them, or are they becoming any clearer in terms of the resolution of the scans that we're taking?
Extremely more clear. In fact, you think if you proceed into this almost open atrium and you angle towards the west and proceed in that direction, you might eventually find what you're looking for.
We would need to get out of the shuttle to do that.
Correct, yes. Yeah, it's a large structure, the interior, but it's not large enough that you can fly a shuttle around in. Not quite.
I don't suppose we need someone to, watch the shuttle, maybe keep the engine running so that we can leave very, very quickly.
No, the engines should just power up immediately, unless something unforeseen goes wrong. But in that case, it won't help to have anybody in the shuttle.
Oh, okay. So I'm coming into the creepy place. Okay.
I'm sorry, Mr. Alexio. Are you requesting to remain alone in the creepy giant place? Because I thought I was doing you a favor, but if you wanted to hang out by yourself, and you felt that was a better idea.
Fair point. If something comes after us, I only need to be faster than the two of you. So I think that's a good point.
Listen, as first officer, I thought I had done a really good job of picking the two best hand phaser operators on the crew to be my companions, our champion and our runner-up.
That was on the holodeck.
Yes, it was.
As much as I like to brag about it, I think live targets might be a little harder for me.
Well, Mr. Alexio, maybe we are learning a lesson about bragging about our capabilities under pressure.
Yes, mother, and I'll follow behind. I'll sulk behind.
As they're walking out, Thavarin is going to sort of sidle up next to Alexio. Where exactly did you place in the Academy Marathon, by the way, if you're so confident in your distance running skills? Is that it? Sprinting, perhaps?
Well, that just gets an icy glare, and then I'll be like, I suppose I deserve that. I didn't participate in sports like you did.
Thavarin will just leave it at that and walk off after the first officer.
Gotcha. So the one thing you guys are noticing about the interior design of this facility is it's all sleek curves. There are no hard lines. It's all sort of gentle slopes and gentle sort of embankments that give it more of an organic feel, despite its unnatural origins. And what that means is that when you enter into a corridor, it's more of almost a squished oval, rather than actually a like square corridor that you might find on a Starfleet vessel. And you also note that the lighting seems to be coming from everywhere at once. Now, it's not like super bright or anything, but as you're looking around, you can't for the life of you figure out where the light's coming from. It's quite unnerving, actually, in a sense, that everything is just bathed in this omnipresent state. I don't want to say sterile, but judging by the fact you're not seeing any signs of life or tools or any sort of inhabitants, maybe sterile is the right word. Um, in terms of actual decoration and coloring, it starts off in just sort of a stark, clean white. And as you proceed through corridors, sometimes the white shifts to light blue, sometimes it shifts to light green, but for the most part, it's very light, very clean coloring, if you will.
So white, blue, and gray. Gotcha.
Mhm. And as you guys are proceeding along, whoever would like to attempt to navigate can roll me a Reason Con at a difficulty of 2.
Well, as the first officer, I will attempt to steer us. I am going to spend a momentum.
Okay.
Oh wait, I forgot to roll my. Just a sec. I forgot to roll my.
You're on tap
Whatever.
potential.
I'll just do them both after this. Composure as a focus.
No.
What about evasive action?
No, you're not evading anything.
What about astronavigation?
You're not navigating the stars.
Yeah, all right, fair.
But we are navigating in the stars, in a sense, from a certain point of view.
No, that sounds like an argument you've unfortunately had to read, and I apologize for that.
Oh my god, I got 4 momentum though.
Which means by my count you have 2 floating?
7?
We actually have 1 because that wasn't taken away.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, then you have 1 floating momentum.
Can I? What can I? Is there something I can do with that momentum? Can I spend that and another momentum to mark a nearby pool which would be a good place for the Bastet to park?
You may certainly do that.
Awesome.
All right. So, Droxine, you of course follow the readings of the chronotons, and at a certain point, it's almost like being next to a reactor where you are just seeing a constant stream of chronotons being emitted. And the culprit is actually very easy to find. As you turn a corner and enter into a set of double doors that seems like no big deal. They just seem to be this regular set of double doors. But when they open and you guys see what's beyond, maybe you feel just a little bit in awe, because what lies behind these doors is a gigantic tube of light that is almost encased by a cylinder of corrugated metal, scaffolding, and support structures. And this cylinder of light is large enough to accommodate even a galaxy class starship. And what you see is that the gangplank or the support structure that runs from where you are now into the cylinder itself, it probably could accommodate a very large wheeled vehicle as well. And you're pretty sure that whatever the hell this thing is, this is where the chronotons are coming from.
Well, Mr. Dvarin, this is kind of your wheelhouse. So, what are we looking at here?
Quite frankly, sir, I'm not entirely certain. And I'd like to take out my tricorder and begin to scan it, just to see if I can detect any kind of technology within the apparatus that is recognizable to me.
Sure. Why don't you roll me a insight engineering difficulty of 3?
Let's see.
While he is doing that, I will contact the ship if that's still possible.
Yeah, you can still contact the ship.
Droxine to Bastet.
Go ahead, Droxine.
Sir, we found the source of the chronotons. We're not entirely sure what we're looking at. Tavarin is just making his initial assessment now, but we've made it to what appears to be some sort of enormous corridor of light. And when I say enormous, I mean galaxy-class starship enormous.
Wow.
So, Tavarin, I think you can suss out what this is. It is indeed a time portal designed for starships.
Well, Captain, and this is directed through the uplink to the starship, to the Bastet. I think we've found some sort of highly advanced time portal, large enough to transport even the Bastet in its entirety.
And this is currently active?
GM?
It's in low power mode. You'd have to do a more thorough assessment to see if you could power it up fully.
The system appears to be functional, but it's operating on limited power. We'd need to actually get some more engineers down here, what few we have, and perform a more thorough analysis. But it looks promising.
Agreed. Have you found a birthing spot for the Bastet?
Yeah, I actually pinged that up to Raylor's panel. She should have that right now.
Yep, got it, Captain.
I think we're coming down to join you.
We'll hold the space for you.
All right, well, now comes a very important role before we go to break. Relore needs to pilot the Bastet down through the water, past the Leviathan, into the structure. And what that means is Relore is going to be rolling a daring and a con because she would never do a control. So that would be a daring and con on her part. You may, of course, have her spend as much momentum as you like. She also should have a value that applies here if you want to have her use determination. But it is going to be difficulty 5, and she will be assisted by the ship's engines con.
I got the ship.
I can roll for her. I think that we should have her use her determination and add 2. And then that's going to be a daring con, right?
Correct.
Now, would I be able to use a direct task to help with this?
Assist? Yep, you certainly can. And you would be assisting with a presence command on your part. All right, so I see 4 successes.
She should roll another die, right? Because we spent 2 momentum there.
Yeah, you're right. So I do need to see one more die from Relore. And then whatever the captain's presence command. All right, so no help from the presence. All right, there you go. There's a crit. There's a crit. So you actually get a momentum back. And we sort of see the Bastet similarly to how Droxine entered the shuttle into the water. We see the Bastet kind of swooping in low and then very slowly submerging itself before it begins to angle down towards the depths. And again, thanks to Cater's earlier role, and maybe Cater even shouting out directions, Relore is able to not only dodge the creature deftly, but is able to get the Bastet into one of the large berths before the creature can even get its jaws around it. And now that you're actually in the berth with the Bastet, you actually see that there are these large, almost spiral-shaped doors that, based on what you're seeing, and if you coordinate with Droxine, these doors, these spiral apertures, lead to the time portal room. But with that, let's go ahead and take our 5 to 10 minute break. So we'll be back shortly. Stick around. Welcome back, everybody. If you're just joining us, well, you just missed a horrible pun, so you're welcome for that. Anyways, we're going to cut just a little bit ways ahead where almost every single member of the Bastet's crew has gathered on the scaffolding and the passageway into the portal itself, just to get a feel in person for not only how large this structure is, but to more or less figure out what to do with it. And I think Ensign V, just sort of looks up with it with crossed arms and goes, wow, 29th century tech, if I look right. What do you think, Tamarochka? Da, I am thinking is also 29th century based on what I have learned from NX logs. What else? What else? You see there, that should be control panel. That should be allowing us to get inside, perhaps be activating it.
But why is 29th century technology in this timeline?
Well, your guess is good as mine, to be honest.
Well, we know that people from the 29th century are continually interfering with the affairs of the past. This is probably part of that ongoing temporal Cold War.
With your permission, Captain, I will go ahead and interface with console.
Is there any way for us to determine how long it's been here?
If you were to pull out your tricorder and look, carbon dating doesn't work because it's from the future, but general dating maybe puts this at 20 years, maybe.
When's the last time it was activated?
That you don't know.
Okay.
That you would have to get into the computer for.
Go ahead, Lieutenant Tamarochka. See if you can interface with the systems.
Very good. So she steps over to what is essentially what looks to be just a kind of a hook that rises up from the side of the scaffolding, and she just sort of holds out her hand, and immediately a holographic representation, almost Iron Man style, sort of coalesces around her hand, and she sort of moves it around a little bit and says, "Oh, okay, that could be problem. Not problem like when we left outside, but problem in that we can't just use this right away."
Well, what do we need to do?
Well, for one, reactor needs jump start, so that's problem one. Problem two is that apparently calibration is needed. It is currently out of sync with not only temporal aspect, but also with physical translocation. But I do have good news. I am able to recover log.
All right, let's see it.
And it's actually a text log, which I have a handout for. And if anyone would care to read that out loud, or I can do it, but
I think that's on you, GM.
okay, I got it. So what we hear? Oh, you want to do it?
Sure, no problem.
Go for it.
The facility should be safe now that I've installed the temporal shielding. Well, safer. It will still end up becoming a defunct derelict once the last of us passes through the portal back to the 29th century. I suggested to Daniels that we make the facility self-destruct once we've gone, so that no one else can use it, and he turned it down, said something about not wanting to harm local wildlife. Stupid in my opinion, but data corrupted.
Daniels.
Does that name ring a bell, Captain? You seem like you know what it is, or who it is.
I had a professor in the academy by that name. Maybe a descendant of theirs?
I mean, it's not an uncommon Earth name, I don't believe, but...
Just the little things, I suppose.
And I think Ensign V sort of listens into the message a few more times on her own and goes, "Hold on, I feel like I know this voice coming from the log. Attic. Who could be Attic?" Bless you.
Sorry, thanks.
Apparently, Lieutenant Alexio is allergic to something. Maybe we should have him report back to the shuttle.
I thought we cured that flu.
Mm,
Throwback.
there's something in here that's not pleasant.
It's a good thing you didn't have to try to outrun anyone, given your weakened constitution.
All right. You are just as scared as me of the giant leviathans outside.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I am a
Why?
Starfleet officer.
Why would you have to outrun one of your fellow officers?
In case we were attacked, I was just saying I could make it. If I could make it back to the shuttle first, I could be out of there while they were being slaughtered.
It was friendly ribbing that happened during the away mission, sir. We all know that if push came to shove, Lieutenant Alexio would stand and be crushed by the Leviathans just like the rest of us.
Absolutely.
Right.
Captain, if I may, a suggestion. I believe it might be in our best interest to attempt to at least get the power generator restored for this machine. It could potentially be a way for us to get home.
Agreed. We need to get power back up and running. And then I believe Lieutenant Tamarochi also said we need to get it recalibrated as well.
Right now, if we were to attempt to use it, could quite literally throw us anywhere from beginning of universe to whatever you would fare for end of universe. It's not calibrated properly.
We need to get it calibrated.
Based on the schematics of the facility, have you localized the power generation system?
Should be down the hall to right about half a click, and should be on your left.
Captain, request permission to take a small team down there to investigate the power systems to see if there's anything that we could do, maybe see if it's compatible with our systems. Well, Tamarochka tries to recalibrate this system.
Granted.
Very good, sir. Alexio? Commander, I don't know if you want to assign a team or...
The captain granted you permission to pick a team. That be my guess, Mr. Tavarin.
Right. Good. Yes, Alexio. Let's go.
All right, but don't leave me alone anywhere. I'm sticking very close by.
Captain, if I may, I'd like to accompany the away team here. I would just like to take some scans. This is a fascinating facility. I mean, the creatures that must have existed inside this facility are at least double, if not triple, our size. I perhaps could get some interesting data for our medical logs.
It's a reasonable request. Go ahead and join them.
Thank you, Captain.
Tamarochka, you need another second set of hands?
Well, that would depend. Are you no longer colorblind?
No, as far as I know, I'm still colorblind.
Then I would prefer someone like Captain or perhaps Varissa or V help me.
All right, I hear you.
I'll assist you.
All right. So, I do want to give the away team just a moment alone before we jump into any extended tasks. So, with the away team of Tavarin, Cater, and Alexio proceeding through the smooth, sleek corridors of this facility, you eventually come to a part where it almost is a transparent tube that you see connects two parts of the facility together. And you realize, based on where you just were and where you are now, you have more or less emerged on the other side of an underwater mountain. That's how extensive this facility is. And it's one of those things where as you look out of this transparent tube out into the depths of the ocean, you do see the Leviathan almost eerily just sort of staring at you from the other side of the glass.
Is there a way for me to get any sort of like basic biological scans of it?
From here, it's going to be limited, but you could, yes.
I just want to do that for pure curiosity.
Sure. Roll me a reason medicine difficulty of 4 because of the fact you're using just a tricorder.
YOLO, gonna spend a momentum. And
I think you have xenobiology, which would definitely apply here.
You're gosh darn tootin'. All right.
All right, that is 2 successes. Do you want to spend determination to reroll, or do you want to just keep the 2?
I'm gonna leverage my value, know when to quit, then don't. I'm like really honestly curious about this, and I'll reroll that 0 and see if I can get a crit. So that'll be, you said, a reason and medicine. Is that right?
Yeah. Now, what I would say before you roll is that determination isn't just zeros; that you can reroll as many of those dice as you want.
Oh. I'm gonna keep one of the ones.
Okay.
I'm gonna re-roll 2 dice.
Crit fish.
We'll just see what happens.
Quick question, LH.
Yes.
If he has a medical tricorder, does that reduce the difficulty, or?
It does, actually. Which means it would be a difficulty 3, but unfortunately, I'm still only seeing 2 successes. So
that's okay. It was just curiosity. No big deal.
So I think what it is, Cater, is you get some very basic scans of the creature, at least the part that you can see. But beyond, like, you aren't able to get temporal lobe scans. You're not able to get a view of its nervous structure. You just can tell that its teeth can probably cut through this facility like it was nothing. But it's leaving you alone.
Big and scary, I say out loud, and then I continue on with my day.
That's a very professional analysis, Doctor. I'm glad that we have you with us.
Me too.
Oh, Tavarin, you wanted me to remind you to punch him.
When we're back on the ship. Maybe when we're off duty.
Why are we punching people?
Because, Doctor, it's the only way you'll learn.
The beatings will continue until morale improves.
I'm going to accept this, and I'm going to recommend that you sign up for some counseling with Ensign V. You seem to have some anger issues, Tavarin.
You're not the first person who's told me that, Doctor, and I've already been seeing V on a semi-regular basis. I think all of us have, haven't we?
You should update that to a more regular basis, because obviously it's not working. And then I will stroll off, all proud-like with my nose in the air.
It's not a victory if you run away, Doctor.
It is on Betazoid. Ha-ha! And I run off.
Wait, you run off in an unfamiliar structure?
Just
to
like
be clear.
A few paces away. Just a few paces away. Aha!
All right. Well, what I would say is that when you do find the reactor room, it's actually not that impressive in terms of visuals, especially compared to the corridors and the time portal room. It actually is just like you enter into a room and it's just a wall that maybe is about the size of like the TOS, like the Constitution engineering, where you just don't see any conduits, don't see a glowing warp core. It's just kind of a wall with a control panel on it. It's actually almost a letdown, I would say.
For such an impressive facility, I would have expected their engineering compartment to be, well, anything more than this.
Some might say simplicity is genius, Tavarin.
Obviously not me, Doctor. Alexio?
I wouldn't call it genius, but at least it's recognizable. Something we can work with, right? If it was too advanced, we'd probably just be staring at it, confused.
Admittedly, the miniaturization of power systems here is quite an impressive feat of engineering. Right. And I'd like to take up my tricorder to scan, to learn a few things. First of all, to see if we can restore power here, but also to learn if there's any kind of power draw to other parts of the station. So, is it maintaining another secondary computer core? Is there some other major major utilization of power in the facility?
Sure. That's going to be a reason in engineering. Let's make this a difficulty of 3.
I think earlier on we did have the 4 momentum, not the 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll spend all 3 of those that are remaining to buy 2 extra dice and roll 4, if that's all right with everyone.
Also, Cater owes us a untapped potential roll.
Well, he failed, so I don't think he gets untapped potential.
That's right. Yep.
And power systems?
Actually, power systems would apply here, yeah. And that is a significant improvement from previous rolls. That is 6 successes. So here's what you learn in that order. The first thing is that, yes, you could interface the Bastet's engines with this device. It would just be a matter of running cable or finding a way to fire some sort of particle beam from the deflector to something that the engine of this structure could take. So that's the good news. Further good news is that you also are able to tell that the computer banks that are connected to this engine and to the time portal, they seem to be largely intact, save for a few damaged sectors. The bad news is that, for lack of a better term, it almost looks like someone deliberately erased most of the core. So you're probably not going to get any further log entries or any sorts of, shall we say, juicy bits of information from the 29th century. But the other good news, sort of waffling back and forth here, the other good news is if you are able to get this thing running, you could probably easily find your way back home as long as Tamarochka does her job.
Lieutenant Thavarin to the captain.
Go ahead.
This is an incredibly promising find, sir. The power systems are largely intact. So are the computer cores, although most of the information therein has been erased. But if we just yoke a power transfer beam from our main deflector to the station, we should be able to repower the temporal portal. If it's properly calibrated, this could actually get us home.
To initiate this power transfer, will we be able to do it while the vessel is still within its berth?
ELH, yes.
That's the problem, and I was waiting for someone to deliberately ask me that question. You can't both be powering the facility and fly through the portal at the same time. At least not the way it's working right now.
Well, sir, from the berth, we could power it, but we'd have to have the ship outside the portal. We couldn't transport it through time while also powering the facility. I'll have to do some more investigation to see if potentially we could run it off the warp core of a shuttlecraft or create some kind of capacitor system or storage system to supplement its power core to allow it to maintain operations while we take the ship through. But from a preliminary scan, that's all I know.
All right, dig deeper into it.
Yes, sir.
So, what I'm going to
Tavarin.
say... Oh, go ahead.
No, Tavarin, if I may ask, we have 2 warp cores aboard the Bastet, don't we? Or 3, is it?
3.
How many warp cores do we need to power this facility?
Well, it's less a matter of the warp core and more a matter of the technology needed to transfer the power from it to this station. The complex nature of a power transfer beam means that we need a ship. We could run it off of one section of the Bastet in all likelihood, at least temporarily, just enough time to get the rest of the ship through, but somebody else would have to stay behind.
Not it.
Yeah, what I was saying is just so you know at this point, in order to get the reactor online, you have to do an extended task. And that extended task has a work track of 14, has a magnitude of 4, a difficulty of 4, and a resistance of 1. And it's not timed or anything, but let's just say that I am still keeping track of how long it does take you to do it.
Okay. What was the difficulty of that previous task that we completed?
The information one you just did, it was a difficulty of 3, so I believe you have 3 momentum.
Plus the 2 from my
Challenge
From your
die.
untapped
Challenge
potential,
die.
yeah,
Yeah.
so you would
So
be at
5.
5.
Okay. All right. Alexio, could you monitor the power transfer rates from the Bastet's warp core to see if they're properly compatible with this system?
Oh yes, I can handle that if you handle the power transfer itself.
Of course, yes. I wasn't going to leave that in your hands.
Uncalled for, but I'm happy to help.
Very good. And this was a control engineering?
It could either be control or it could be daring. The caveat to that is whatever you do, the other person who is assisting you also has to do it. So if you pick daring, they also pick daring.
Okay.
Daring is not good for me.
Then I will go for control engineering.
Okay.
I'll use. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go on.
I'll use augmented ability engineering, or augmented ability control, rather, to get 1 free success if possible.
Mm-hmm.
I will tap a value. I don't know if I have anything for that. I mean, the only thing that comes close is dangerously competitive, in that I want to show up the person I've just horribly insulted.
I mean, you are throwing salt. I think that could be a good determination, all things considered.
Okay, then I'll tap dangerously competitive for 2 free successes,
Okay.
and I'll spend 2 momentum to roll 1 extra die.
Okay. And this is where we get complications. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the complications are coming.
Can my jury rigging focus be applied here?
It certainly could. So that's already 5 successes. So let's see if Alexio gets you another. That is a total of actually 7 because of augmented control. So yeah, 7 successes means 3 momentum, which means you're now at 6 momentum total by my count. And yeah, I need Tavarin to roll me 6 challenge die to represent work done here. All right, that is 4 with a resistance of 1. That does mean you're only doing 3 work at the current moment before you spend any momentum.
And you said from that task we had 6?
You should be total of 6 momentum right now, yes.
Okay. I don't think I have any talents here that would help us, so I'll spend 1 to reroll those 2 zeros.
Okay.
So let's see what that does.
All right, it gets you to 5, which is effectively 4.
And then 1 more for
Okay.
for 5 work.
For 5 work. All right. So that means you achieve a breakthrough, and the first breakthrough you get is you are able to get a rudimentary power beam going from the Bastet to the reactor, and the reactor is spinning up in the preliminary stages of activation. And as that happens, we're actually going to cut back to the rest of the away team, or the rest of the crew, as it were, as all of you are more or less crowded around this console, trying to see what you can do to help Tamarochka at this point. And Tamarochka just says, "Why are you all crowding me? You can easily see from over there. Stop crowding." Except you, Captain. You stay.
All right, I'll stay.
But no, I am looking at this the problem of calibration, and it occurs to me that we actually might need a pilot's touch here.
I was going to turn, look at Droxine. Looks like you're up.
I mean, I offered in the first place.
Tell me, how good are you at without touching anything? Because again, colorblind could be a problem. How good are you at astral navigation?
I mean, I hesitate to use the word expert, but when the shoe fits.
When shoe fits, very good. I like this expression. I will be using it in future. Well, if you are able to figure out star charts for what this device is trying to base all of calculations on, we should be able to make progress in that way. And Captain, I hesitate to say this, but it does appear to have Starfleet trappings. If you know any security codes or anything of the nature that might work here, it might help.
I can see what I can figure out with it.
All right. So this is going to be a multifaceted, extended task of your very own. So your extended task is actually a little bit more challenging, but it does allow for different approaches to it. So, for example, Droxine, if you approach this extended task, you're going to be doing something probably like a reason con or an insight con. Abbacy, if you approach this, you're doing it from a command perspective, and you would be doing a reason or perhaps a presence plus command. And of course, Tamarochka can assist you, V can assist you, Varissa can assist you, but you only get one assist, so choose wisely.
I think I'll give it the first shot.
Okay. In that case, go ahead and give me a reason command, and the difficulty here is going to be a 5. Who will be assisting you?
On this one, I believe I would like to have Tamarochka assisting.
All right, Tamarochka will assist with a control engineering on her part, if someone could grab her sheet.
And you said I could use a presence and command as well, correct?
That is also valid, yes.
I think I shall go with that. And command. I would like to use, let's see, 3 momentum for an extra 2 dice, if everyone's okay with that.
All right.
Sure you don't want to spend determination on that?
Actually, yes, I do, because I still have my 1 extra determination point.
Ooh.
So in that case, I will tap my value of how did I end up here?
Okay.
Working on a 29th century chronological transporter system. And with that, I will then use 2 momentum instead to get an extra die.
Okay. So you go back up to 3 momentum.
Control engineering, I think you said
For Tamarochka. Yep.
And I don't think I have any focuses that would apply to this roll.
Let's take a gander at your list here.
Will her focus of temporal mechanics apply?
Oh, for her, yeah. Definitely for
Okay.
her. Yeah. Actually, I would give you galactic history.
Okay, I'll do that then. So let's see, I should be rolling 3 dice with a focus, and I have 2 successes already.
Yep.
Make that 4.
So that's 4, 6, 7 successes, which means you get 2 momentum. And yeah, what that means is, Abbacy, when you put in your command codes, Surprisingly enough, the system accepts it, and the interface changes from that holographic display of lights and confusing overlays to be more in line with contemporary Starfleet designs.
My computer
So,
says, "Thank you, Fleet Admiral Abassi."
yeah, there you go. Doesn't call you a fleet admiral, but it does call you captain. I will say that there is that distinction. It does say Captain Abassi. But as it shifts to a more recognizable interface, Tamarochka goes and says, "Oh, well, this is very nice. I actually know what buttons to be pushing now."
Well, that was interesting.
And yeah, just for the work's sake, I need 6 challenge dice from Abassi. All right, so that is 6 successes, which means you are doing effectively 4 work. What I would say is that if you spend a momentum, you could just do the 6 work total.
That is what I would like to do.
And then
All
roll
right.
your challenge dice for untapped potential. With threat.
Ooh, I'll take threat. All right, so as you guys are working on that, we're again going to bounce back to the other part of the away team, and we're just going to bounce back and forth to see who finishes first. No competition or anything. But yeah, it is at this point that Tavarin, Cater, and Alexio, how would you like to approach the situation from here? Again, the reactor is spooling up, and it just needs careful modulation and control at this point.
You know, Alexio, as much as it pains me to admit, your experience with modulation of energy frequencies on starship shielding probably would give you insight into the alterations necessary to maintain this power transfer tap. So, if you wish, I can assist you.
I think you're muted, by the way.
Well, I so rarely hear this from you, so I think I have to seize this opportunity to show my mettle.
Well, right now it's you, me, and the doctor who's sitting in the corner doing nothing, competing against the captain and his team. So we're in this together.
You really want you really want to be first here, don't you?
It's a matter of professional pride. Also, Tamarochka is heading up the team on the other end, so
Say no more. Say no more. All right. So, what kind of role would this be?
In this instance, I think a reason and security might actually work out here, or reason engineering even. I'd allow either.
All right. What about a control security? Because you did say that we were controlling.
I did say that. Yeah, I'll give you control security. But because I find it funny, I want Cater to be your assist here. But you have to justify how Cater is the assist.
Oh, so I'm going to, at the comment from Tavarin, I'm going to bump over there and be like, I passed engineering 101. I'm just going to start mashing buttons out of frustration.
I'm regretting the decision not to punch you while we're on duty.
I'm very angry. One of my bunny ears is like drooping because I'm sad.
I'm gonna tap my determination for this one, and I'm gonna use my value. My instincts serve me well because whenever I'm modulating, I sort of run it off of instinct rather than thinking about it too much. Mm-hmm. And I'm also gonna spend. I'm also gonna spend 2 momentum if that's fine for that third die.
Yeah, Cater, what you're rolling is probably going to be a, let's call this a daring and an engineering on your part.
Oh, those are my 2 best stats. They're not. I have no focuses.
Don't you have like a 1 in engineering anyways?
I didn't break anything. That's good. Just didn't help.
All right, so I got 5.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah.
See, Travarn, I know what I'm doing, and I'm helpful. And then I storm off again.
Like 3 paces away, just salts.
Excellent
To
work,
be
Alexio. You compensated for the doctor's ineptitude quite well.
To be fair, I did try and help him in sickbay once, and I think I made his job harder than than it was before I helped. So
Don't come crying to me when you get a plasma burn.
I'm spending 2
No
threat that he gets a plasma burn.
oh,
Cater just goes, ha! No, you can suffer for right now. Screw
Worst.
the Hippocratic Oath.
Doctor.
You are mean. You're a mean person. You deserve this karma.
well,
You know what? Just give me the damn medical kit and I'll treat my wound myself. I'm sure I'd do a better job than you.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
just
boy.
about as good of a job as you are being a friend.
I never claimed to be your friend, Doctor.
Yeah, well,
I'm your
maybe you
coworker.
should, because we're all together trying to work, and you're just being really mean. I'm just trying to do my best here, man.
Obviously not. You're not treating my injury.
Well, give me your arm, you fucking idiot.
Well, take it.
I'll just fix him.
You fix
What's
him,
that,
no problem.
Yeah, all right. Can I just make a roll?
Plastic.
Sure,
for the
for
lulz.
giggles.
Yeah,
Control.
like that
control
one
and
time I tried to
medicine.
fix her eyes and I screwed up a
Oh
bunch.
my
That was
God.
real funny. Control medicine.
Control medicine, yeah.
With a focus. 2d20.
Please don't roll complications here. Okay, good. Yeah, you get your 2 successes. You heal him, no problem.
all right.
Go, go. We
For
all
the
have our
purpose,
specialties, Tavarn. We all have our specialties. Your specialties being an ass. And I'll storm off 3 paces again.
wow.
Oh.
I've sort of lost track of how many challenge dice I should be rolling for the work
6.
task. 6.
Well, that gets you 1 momentum for your untapped potential, at least.
Nice.
And yeah, I mean, with resistance of 1, you are doing the 5 work for another breakthrough if you so wish.
I will spend a momentum to reroll the zeros, actually.
Okay.
Just because we're being competitive.
All
That's
right, you
another
actually
one.
get another work. Hey, I mean, you never know. That extra 1 could come into play.
Well,
All right,
And
so
just a
Oh,
quick
go ahead.
question before we go on. The difficulty of the task was a 3, was it?
Yes.
And we got 5
we had
successes.
5 successes. Yeah.
So did we take into account that momentum?
No,
Not yet.
we didn't.
Okay, so we're at 4 then?
Well, you spent 1, so I think you're at 3.
I think that the one that we spent came from
Untapped potential, right?
Kalos'
So we
untapped
would be at
potential.
4. Yeah. All right. So as that entire scene unfolds, we go back to the time room, where it is at this point. I'm curious as to how you're approaching the scenario from here.
I think for the second one, let Droxine take the helm.
Fair enough.
Hey.
So yeah, Droxine, for you, it's going to be a reason and a con. And difficulty on this is a 4. And again, you get 1 source of an assist on this.
I mean, I will also get Tamarochka to assist me. Well, yeah, whatever. I need 4. I'm gonna spend 3 of our momentum for a couple of extra dice.
Okay.
And then a focus on astronavigation.
Yeah, most definitely.
And what is Tamarochka rolling?
She's rolling control and engineering on her part.
Hey.
Hey, there's 4 successes. Does Tamarochka get you 5? No, she rolls a complication.
Oh.
So I think what the complication is as she's interfacing with the holographic interface. Yeah, there's good English. Basically, what happens is you are able to feed her the correct star charts, but what I'm going to say is that the complication is that the resistance of this extended task actually goes up So it was at a 2. It's now a resistance of 3. But yeah, I need 6 challenge dice from you, please. All right, so you're effectively doing 2 work right now.
And I can spend a momentum to reroll and a momentum. Is it or a momentum to cancel the resistance?
I mean, you can do both. There's nothing saying you can't do, one or the other. It's for every 1 momentum you spend, you get rid of 2 resistance.
2 resistance. That's what I was thinking. So even if I was able to cancel, even if I spend 1 momentum, I'd still need at least 1 more success.
But it is repeatable.
Yes, you can repeat the momentum for resistance piercing, but you can only reroll dice once.
Right.
But you can spend momentum just to get 1 flat point of work done.
Correct, and that is also repeatable.
Yep. So if you really want to sabotage us and make our lives horribly difficult, you could just steal our momentum, because that's fair.
Well, so I spent, because we had these 4, I spent 3 on the dice. We only have 1, don't we?
We should be down to 1, yeah. Although you can roll untapped potential.
I did, and I got 0.
Oh, okay.
Sake should also be able to give him a point of threat to the GM.
Yeah, you could always give me threat.
I mean, in order to make any progress, I need at least a 5. Correct? Like, or at least that's in order to get one of our breakthroughs.
Breakthrough, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'll spend a momentum and a threat to remove all the resistance and have all 5 of those work at play.
All right, and you achieve another breakthrough as Tamarochka works and curses Lewin and goes, "Damn, apparently they accounted for fact we would be using this without full knowledge of how it works. That actually makes sense when I say it out loud, but let's just say it's very annoying. It is trying to stop our progress forward." And with that, we're now going to go back to the happy fun time room where where everybody gets along and nothing bad ever happens.
Exactly, yeah.
So let me again copy paste so you know where you're at. You are currently looking at a difficulty 2 task. But what this means is if you do 5 work on this next roll, you actually complete restoring power to this facility.
You see that Thavarin just sort of massages his brow. His upper lip sort of flares out in that benzite fashion as he puffs. Turns over to the doctor, flexing his hand. Good job, Doctor. That's very effective.
You're welcome, Lieutenant
Yes.
Tavarin. You're very welcome.
I don't feel like it, but let's get this done. So, ELH, out of character, what would the role that we'd be making be?
At this point, just a simple control engineering, I think, would be solid.
Okay. Alexio, I think we're almost done here. Just make sure that there's no recursive feedback loop in the sub-processors as we complete the last vestiges of the power transfer, okay?
Got it. If the bars on this get too high, I'll push the button.
That's a very succinct way of condensing down the complex engineering task that I have just articulated to you. All right, and I will roll control engineering with augmented ability control.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just roll the straight 2d20.
All right, so that's a total of 3 successes. You get a momentum.
And Alexio's assist.
Yep.
And Alexio gets you another 2
nice.
and gets me a threat. Nice.
Nice.
All right, so that's 3 work done right now. By my count, you have 3 momentum. There's multiple ways you could accomplish your successes here. I'm just curious which way you want to go about it.
Can't you guys just spend the momentum and succeed?
Yeah, so to get that last breakthrough, I will spend... I think I have to spend all 3. No, just 2 to get the... right?
Yeah,
work
because you
done.
only need to go to 6. So yeah, if you spend 2, yeah, so you complete it.
Okay.
So what happens is, yes, the reactor spins up fully, and I give you a choice, which you're going to have to probably, excuse me, run by the captain. You can keep the facility powered, meaning you can cut the transfer beam. However, the caveat to this is you're going to have to give up half of your matter antimatter stores to do it.
In game terms, what will that actually affect?
In game terms, what that's going to mean is I am sort of keeping track of I'm not like keeping track of every photon torpedo you fire, but I am keeping a rough guideline of how many torpedoes you've used, how far you've traveled, how long you've traveled. And let's just say at some point I'm going to be like, "Hey guys, you're running low." So, where you stand on that right now, you guys have about 85% of your fuel reserves right now. So by doing this, you would go down to about 35% fuel reserves remaining.
And just to facilitate that, we'll say that Thavarin contacts the captain and informs him of that issue and that choice that has to be made.
Mm-hmm.
And the alternative to that was?
You leave the Bastet here and go in with a shuttle, or you just walk through the portal.
Hard pass.
Is there any way that we could actually use the shuttle's warp core, like the Type 5 shuttle, to power this device?
I'm going to spend some of my threat to make the complication that if you do try to use a shuttle, there's a very high risk that the shuttle will detonate while the Bastet is making the transition.
Going off of that thought, what if we utilize the 3 shuttles that we have in conjunction with each other?
And leave us without a shuttle?
I mean, we can always just split into multi-vector assault mode and use the Alpha section as a shuttle. It's their equivalent, pretty much.
But if we used all 3 shuttles, would we still have that same possibility of the explosion?
Yes, but the benefit of doing that would be that almost like the exocomp episode where it starts off with 3 exocomps stabilizing the core, then it goes down to 2, and then it goes down to 1, and then the 1 lingers just long enough to get you through the passageway. It's basically where we're angling at this point if you go with the shuttle aspect. But to be clear, you would lose all of your shuttles from this exercise.
What if we put holographic Tavarans in each of those shuttles to monitor them so that the shuttles are more likely to be stable through the passage of the ship?
You just want to watch him die multiple times.
I'm not going to watch. I was thinking of the most capable officer standing in one of those shuttles during a power fluctuation, and I couldn't think of a single person I would rather have in there than Mr. Tavarin.
Oh, I see. So I am nothing to you, yes?
I don't want to watch you die. I mean,
I think you just said quiet part out loud.
Over an
Yeah.
open comms channel.
Also, from the reports I've been receiving, dear, you
Oh
you
god,
probably
do not
shouldn't
start
be the
deering
one.
me on comms, for love of all that is holy.
why would he call you dear?
I'm gonna
All
let
right,
Tim explain that one.
back on task here. If this works properly, we get through to this other side, we will be able to resupply. I am willing to risk half of our reserves to keep this powered.
Very good, sir. I'll make the necessary preparations.
All right. So, as the away team, well, the away team part A does that, we're going to go back to away team B because you do have an extended task you need to finish up because there is a complication that could affect you down the road. So at this point, you're looking at difficulty 3 task. And again, just tell me how you would like to approach the scenario at this point. Now, the only thing I would say is you can't use Tamarochka as an assist again, because I do want other characters to get a chance here.
V has approximate knowledge of many things.
She does, yes.
Could probably use V as the assist on this one. I will attempt to interface, operate the system again.
Okay. So that would be another presence command from you. And then Ensign V doesn't matter. She always rolls below a 13 and always has a focus. So it's the benefit of V.
And we have 1 momentum currently.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use that for an extra die.
Okay.
Let's see if this works.
Survey says. Well, that's the 3 successes you need. Let's see if V gets you an assist. Someone grabbing B.
I got it.
Got it.
I wasn't, but I got it now.
Okay.
What's she rolling?
Doesn't
it doesn't
matter. She's always rolling a below a 13 and always has a focus.
Oops. Yes. Hey.
All right. So that is a. Oh, I'm going to have to modify her sheet if her security is only a 2. But yeah. Or maybe it is. Maybe it's a 12 she rolls under, not a 13.
Yeah,
Either way.
all of her stats for 12, yeah.
Okay, yeah, in that case, that's what it should be. So yeah, what that means is you get 4 successes, you get a point of momentum, and yeah, give me 6 challenge die, Abasi, and let's see how you do. That is 7 work done, minus the 3 resistance, so 4 work done. That is enough to complete the work track, so that's 1 breakthrough, but if you want 2 breakthroughs, you would have to give me 1 momentum.
Yeah, we have that because of V's success, right?
I will give you that 1 point of momentum.
Okay. So, as you, again, use your command codes and other knowledge of the inner workings of Starfleet technology, the more you work at it from this angle, the more you come to realize that whoever this Daniel character is and whoever this Attic character is, they had intimate knowledge of this period's, like this time period's command codes. And even though right now you're in the quote unquote lost era, I don't just mean the lost era, I mean the TOS era, the Lost era, the TNG era, etc., etc., etc. So someone knew what they were doing when they were making this system.
I'm not sure what to make of this.
Well, if I might, sir, and Versa sort of steps forward, I believe we now have an interesting choice ahead of us. Do we, as this log suggests, do we just leave this thing as we pass through it ourselves, or do we blow it up and prevent anyone else from using it?
From what I've gleaned working through the system, I think it's safe to say this system, this apparatus, was built by the Federation, by Starfleet, or some form of it.
No offense, sir, that doesn't exactly answer my question, though.
No, I suppose it doesn't.
Sir, I may have an idea about that. What if we reconfigured the tertiary chronoton flux equalizer so that once the gate is activated again, it fuses the chronometric pathways and drops this whole facility out of time? Should just lock it out of phase with this quantum reality.
I think that is a good solution. It'll prevent us from, as the log showed before, tampering with the ecosystem itself.
Speaking of the ecosystem, I'm spending 2 threat. That, hey, happy fun time group? Guess what's now looking at you very pointedly through the windows?
I think we're done here. Let's leave.
And what I'm going to say is that as you start to go through the corridors back to the other rest of the crew, every single window you pass by, the creature's at. Like it's got its big old eye just next to the window staring at you.
You never see it moving, but it's
Never,
always there
never.
already.
And that's the worst part of it is you
Jeez.
don't see it moving.
Doctor, why did you have to try to scan it?
I
It
start
knows.
singing in I start singing the song. My mother told me, someday you will spy galley with good oars, sail to distant shores. I just start singing that song over and
The sea
over,
shanty. Yeah.
just trying to fuck with Tavarin a little bit because I'm not afraid. Because hey, if I die, I die. Is what it is, I guess.
Roll me a presence medicine because I find it funny.
I love it.
1, 2
Present.
Leviathans coming for you.
Medicine. Do I have a focus?
No focus on this
Composure.
one.
Composure.
Actually,
Have
composure. Yeah. Composure.
Yeah, let's
composure,
do it. Come on. I don't know. It's got to be something bad for Tavarin, so I want all the bonuses I can get.
Wow.
And
Oh, it failed here. Totally failed. That's awesome.
So, I think what happens because of that failure, you all hear, and when I say all of you, I mean even those of you in the time portal room, the creature starts making noise alongside your little sea shanty.
Ooh.
Now, of course, it's horrifying. It's like a mixture of a roar and a whale song, but it's making some sort of noise.
Doctor, you're making it worse.
Oh, that's not good.
Just
why do you
chewy
keep
noise.
harassing it? It's an innocent life form that you should let go on its way. That's the Federation ethos.
You could say the same thing about your interactions with me, but look where we are now. And then I storm off again. I think I broke our GM. I'm sorry.
Alexio, do you hate that man as much as I do?
Not as much.
No, that's probably not possible, but
Well,
I think it's actually kind of funny how he gets under your skin.
well, I'm glad to be an endless source of amusement for you.
Anyway, we should really be getting back to the ship. This is getting very uncomfortable.
And Tavarin looks out at the massive, unblinking eye of the creature. That sounds like an excellent idea. Would you like to test and see which of us actually would win in that race?
Well, I'm going to be going as fast as I can, and you can do that too. And I suggest you do that too. And I suppose once we're comfortable,
Tavarin, I
we
will
can
give you a
compare.
point of determination if you punch Alexio in the stomach and start running. Because of your fiercely competitive.
Could I trip him instead rather than punching him?
You may
Just
also trip him if
knock
you
his
wish.
legs out from under him and
You may also do
start.
so.
Okay, I will do that.
Okay. So, Alexio, you start running, and Tavarin starts running with you, and then Tavarin cheats a little bit and trips you up, causing you to stumble. You don't go hard to the floor, but it's noticeable that he messed with you just a little bit. Just a
Tavarin,
little
you
bit.
bastard! I'm not going to die here today. And I'll chase after you.
All right, so gentleman's agreement, no determination, no momentum, no threat. Give me a fitness security from both of you.
Oh, we're actually doing this. Okay.
Oh, yeah. No, you thought that was a joke. No,
It's
we're
too
making
good
this a
to
thing.
not do, I guess.
I don't think I have any focuses.
Neither do I don't think.
Ooh.
Ooh, 2 from Tavarin. 2
two
from
from me.
Alexio. So I think what happens, based on what we did before, so because of the trip and because Tavarin has a 9 in fitness, I think Tavarin arrives back at the ship before Alexio. But it's close. I mean, it's not like a blowout, but it's close.
Gentlemen, why are you running? Also,
good.
where's the doctor?
It's back there in the dark somewhere. It's good calisthenics, that's all.
Where's the doctor? It's just
A better question. A better question would be, why aren't you all running? Like we need it's working, right? Let's get in the ship and go.
Droxine to Lieutenant Cater?
Lieutenant Cater here.
Oh, good. You're all right. Yeah, we're ready to try this if you want to make your way back to the ship.
Yeah, sorry, I'm storming off. I'll be right there. I storm quicker back to the ship.
nice.
If he wants to stay, I say let him.
Wow, we were making so much progress, Alexio. All gone.
We were until you started singing at the creatures and made them start creepily singing back.
Maybe it just wants to be our friend. You don't know anything. None of us do.
That's why
Mr.
you should stay, Doctor, because then you can determine if this creature has beneficent motives.
Mr. Cater, were you egging the Leviathan on?
No, I was messing with Tavarn. The Leviathan just sang back to me. I don't know. Maybe it likes music. I'm a doctor, not a botanist.
Captain, I know this is
Botanist.
probably not time for this, but honestly, if it is showing intelligence, perhaps before we go, we I don't know, try to study it more. Isn't that what Starfleet does?
As the chief medical officer, I say hard pass, let's go home, and I storm onto the ship.
First sensible thing he said all day.
I hate that I have to agree with him, but he's absolutely right.
I'm going to have to agree with the doctor. As large as that thing is and as angry as it sounded, I'd rather not be here if it decided it didn't want to let us take any more scans.
All right. So you all pile back on the Bastet. The large circular iris opens up, and you begin flying towards the cylinder of light as it spools up and creates a swirling vortex
Wait,
of white, blue, and purple energy.
somebody's got to go back and get our Type 9. The Calico's got to come back.
Let's just say you can get it for sake of reason. There's enough space you can get it back.
All right.
But right before you go through the portal, I need someone who feels lucky. I need you to roll me a 1d100. You want to see a low result on this.
I got this, guys.
Nope, Cater beat you to it. You got an 81.
Oh, just to show you that I had this.
Got a 91, come on.
Yeah, as I say, a 45.
I mean, 45. It's like
Eh.
it's way lower than 81's all I'm saying.
As soon as
So,
the GM says anything about roll and luck, I am already typing that macro, sir, because my luck's terrible.
So what happens is we see the Bastet enter into the cylinder of light, and almost like it going to warp, the ship elongates, and then in a flash of light, the ship is gone, and the cylinder and the time portal slows down and comes to a stop. And we cut to the exterior of the facility, where another Leviathan swims up to the other one. And because I find it funny, you can actually understand what they're saying. And one goes, "Honey, what are you doing?" "Well, there was more of those weird small creatures. I was trying to say hello." "Well, dear, you know that they don't like us. Come on, we have to go eat." And the two Leviathans swim off. And that's where we're going to end today's session.
I was trying to tell them that
awesome.
machine is broken, but they weren't listening.
Yeah. So yeah,
I kept telling them that's going to send them somewhere that they don't want to go. No one ever comes back, but they just wouldn't listen to me.
exactly.
Hilarious.
Yeah, not gonna lie, like the Leviathan was just there to freak you guys out. It wasn't actually going to eat you.
Which
It was just
you
trying to be friendly.
succeeded in doing.
It liked my singing, didn't it?
It did. It did like your singing.
That's brilliant. ELH, that was a lot of fun. I don't know if it was intended to be that much fun, like silliness, but that was like that came out wrong. But that was awesome. Like that was really, really fun. Like good job. That was really cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
you guys
man.
did a wonderful job as well. The salt that got thrown this session. The salt.
It was great.
It was.
Not gonna lie, I'm pretty proud of my. It's like your interactions with me, and I storm off again.
Yeah.
That was fun.
It's
You
like a
guys-
Nice
sitcom.
motif.
It's like a sitcom on like Lifetime or on FX where you say something poignant and then you storm off, and then you cut back to you,
kept storming off.
and you keep storming off.
I feel like I'm gonna have to sit everybody down for mediation at this point.
Except oddly, I'm doing good.
The
All
guys
those
that
sessions
do
with
it
me.
Yeah,
is
you've
fine.
been doing really good. Yeah, you kind of stayed above it the whole time.
Mhm.
Oh man,
Mm.
remind me to go on away missions with Tavarin more because that was delightful.
I'm not sure I'm ever assigning you and Tavarin to go on a mission together again.
So what I just heard was, "Hey GM, you need to find out ways to put Cater and Tavarin on away missions." That's what I heard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Well, that was fun. Yeah, I'm glad you all enjoyed it, and hopefully the listeners out there had fun as well. Real quick, I do want to say that if I have my dates right, we are taking next week off because the captain is moving. So what that means is that the next Bastet session will be February 27th, barring any, of course, randomness or last minute emergencies. So this is where I say goodbye to YouTube, but Twitch, stick around because we're going to rate somebody. But YouTube, see you later. Bye bye.